And here's the part you've been waiting for, the shocking truth about Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA. Despite the criticism, Clark has continued to use her platform to push for change. She's met with league officials to discuss pay equity. She's collaborated with other players on initiatives to highlight the contributions of Black athletes. And most importantly, she's refused to back down.
Going to the WNBA, like I've said, I feel like I've earned every single thing that's happened to me over the course of my career. But also, I grew up a fan of this league from a very young age. Like, my favorite player was Maya Moore. Like, I know what this league was about. And like I said, like, it's only been around 25 plus years. So I know there's been so many amazing Black women that have been in this league, and continuing to uplift them, I think, is very important. And that's something I'm very aware of.
Here's a passage from the article in Times Magazine. Quote, "I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. A lot of those players in the league that have been really good have been Black players. This league has been built on them. The more we can appreciate that, highlight that, talk about that, I think it's very important. I have to continue to try to change that. The more we can elevate Black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing," end quote.
Whether you agree with her or not, there's no denying that Clark has forced the WNBA to confront some uncomfortable truths about race, privilege, and progress. But here's the cliffhanger. Will Clark's efforts lead to lasting change, or will the league continue to grapple with the same issues it has faced for decades? Only time will tell. What we do know is this: the conversation has started, and it's not going away anytime soon. Coming off a historic college career at Iowa, she entered the league as the most anticipated rookie in years. But the buzz around Clark wasn't just about her stats, it was about what she represented. For decades, the WNBA has been a league largely driven by Black women. Legends like Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, and Tamika Catchings built its foundation. However, Clark's arrival brought an entirely new level of attention, fanfare, and most importantly, financial investment. To others, she was proof that change was finally happening. This duality is what makes her story so compelling and so divisive. As the conversation around Clark's comments grew, other players began to weigh in. Some, like Napheesa Collier, spoke out in support of Clark, praising her for using her platform to bring attention to important issues. Collier said, "We need more people like Caitlin who are willing to have uncomfortable conversations. That's how progress happens." But here's the kicker. Those comments might redefine how the league sees itself and its future. Stay with us, because by the end of this video, we'll reveal the shocking truth about what's happening behind the scenes and how Caitlin Clark's actions are forcing everyone to reevaluate their perspectives. Caitlin Clark's rise in the WNBA has been nothing short of meteoric, but others were more critical. One anonymous player reportedly said, "It's easy to talk about privilege when you're the one benefiting from it. Let's see her talk about equity when it comes to paychecks." This tension between gratitude and frustration is what makes Clark's situation so unique. On one hand, she's a trailblazer, breaking barriers and elevating the league in ways few thought possible. But on the other hand, her success serves as a stark reminder of how far the league still has to go. To understand why Clark's comments carried so much weight, you need to look at the history of the WNBA. For years, players have fought for better pay, more media coverage, and improved working conditions. They've marched, protested, and spoken out, often with little to show for it. However, Clark's arrival coincided with one of the most significant changes in the league's history, the introduction of charter flights. For over 2 decades, WNBA teams flew commercial, a reality that players like Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi had called out for years. But within weeks of Clark's rookie season, charter flights became a reality. On his podcast, he passionately defended Clark, arguing that the backlash she received wasn't just misplaced, but downright unfair. He said,
"It was sisters resentful of her. Be resentful of the system. Be resentful of the folks, primarily the white folks, who basically disenfranchised y'all all of these years before she came along, who denied you the acclaim and the allure and the profits you richly deserved. But you don't take that out on Caitlin Clark. Not her.
Smith's argument boiled down to this: Clark wasn't the problem. While it wasn't directly because of her, many attributed the sudden shift to the massive attention she brought to the league. Therefore, when critics accused Clark of benefiting from a system that had long ignored black players, it wasn't entirely surprising, but Smith's counterpoint was clear: blaming Clark wasn't the answer. He drew parallels to the civil rights movement, saying,
When black folks was marching during the civil rights era and fighting every battle they possibly could, they weren't dismissive, nor did they insist in denigrating the white people who marched with them.
Anyway, Time magazine also chose WNBA superstar Caitlin Clark as their athlete of the year. Okay, here's the problem. A lot of conservatives are having a fit over her interview, and here's what they're so mad about. Watch.
It's a story that has shaken the WNBA to its core. Caitlin Clark, named Time magazine's Athlete of the Year and widely celebrated for her incredible rookie season, just made comments that have sparked debates far beyond basketball. Her acknowledgement of race and privilege within the league has left fans divided, players reflecting, and commentators like Stephen A. Smith passionately defending her stance.
The Indiana Fever star was named Time magazine's Athlete of the Year earlier this week, and she took time to acknowledge that race played a role in her success this year. Here's a passage from the article in Times magazine, quote, I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege.
But here's the twist. Those comments didn't just draw applause. They reignited simmering tensions about race, recognition, and opportunity within the league.
Now, some conservatives are accusing her of, quote, bowing to the woke mob, unquote, for acknowledging her privilege.
Some players praised her honesty, while others, including outspoken critics, felt it was a reminder of how much work still needs to be done.
I'm struggling.
There's nothing to be triggered, and this is not the first time that she has acknowledged the people whose shoulders she has stood upon. I mean, the WNBA is a very young league. It's only 25 years old, and I'm on the board of the WNBA Board of Advocates. It's over 80% black, because white viewers have grown 156% year over year and 301% on ESPN networks.
Look, I loved her answer. I have no idea, barely know what a basketball looks like, but I loved her answer because she's not letting these folks who want to turn her into some sort of racial avatar define her. She defines herself, and she said, I am very good at tuning out the noise. She wants to play basketball, which she obviously does in an excellent manner, has broken all sorts of records. If anybody else was recognizing pioneers of their industry who toiled away for 25 years with basically little recognition and very little pay, and she is acknowledging them, seeing them, respecting them, and thanking them, where is the controversy? That's called gratitude.
To others, she was proof that change was finally happening. This duality is what makes her story so compelling and so divisive.